right. Welcome home, gamer. And welcome back to Mechabellum. We've got Weekend Tournament European number 71 coming in 19 minutes. As you guys know, winning 2 of the weekend tournaments between now and the end of week 73 gets you a slot in the Mechabellum Launch Clash Tournament. 5 out of the 8 slots that are available to that have already been filled. But let's see, who has filled them? Let's see here. 63 is no longer listed, but Rooster won Europe 63 and Europe 64, so he was the first to qualify via that route. There you can see Blue Hair winning, Panda won, Dachshund won a pair back-to-back with, obviously with different accounts, but we know it's him. So won the pair of 65s to become the second one in that way. This player is the #1 world player and just qualified this morning, so there's actually there are only 2 slots left. This person is You Are the Flower Fairy of Penglai. So congratulations to Flower Fairy for booking their spot in the tournament. Very nicely done. Well played, well played. They will be in the finals directly. No more qualifying required for them. Cody, Zemp, Rice could all qualify with a win. Mechabellum could. The Conclusion could. Apooche has already won twice, so they are through as the 3rd qualifier this way. Blue Hair won the Asia 69 to become the 4th qualifier this way. And I believe this Steel Saint had won a 63 Americas and then the 69 Americas to become the 5th player to qualify that way. I Like Napping could win it. Play Archer is in as an invitational. Sacco is in as an invitational, so they're not going to be stealing a slot. Flower Fairy has taken 1. There are 2 slots remaining. Good luck, everybody. We saw an amazing tournament in Asia this morning where the world #1 showed up as a result of us saying you can qualify for this cash prize money tournament. He was like, oh, okay, I've already won one of these. This is the way in. Shows up, wins 6 games. Great, I'm in. And promptly withdrew his registration from the challenge page.
It's I see.
Beautiful.
Okay, nice. Nice.
Well,
who was that, by the way?
That is You Are the Flower Fairy of Penglu.
Okay, nice. Fairy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the Weekend Tournament European number 71. Again, we have qualification on order for the Mechabellum Launch Clash Tournament. We're looking at Advanced Group 1, and this is round 1, of course. You guys kind of see that there. What do you see as a good match here, Zach? Is there somebody you're excited to see?
The two that I'm most excited about from a quick look are Jota versus Shelter and Dejemp versus Bradbury. It looks really good.
I am thinking we have Sunnyside versus Dorgon. 2 top 8 finishers. Oh,
that's a good one.
2 top 8 finishers. Let's go there. There's also Fanatics versus Dionis.
I haven't got down that far, so that looks good. Yeah.
And if I scroll all the way down, Mike Tyson's up against Dachshund, Cam Peck against Rice, and Fedez against Apooche. Oh my goodness, there are so many folks that...
Yeah. Well, it's a big tournament, right?
It's a big tournament, wow. And what we noticed in Asia is that we drew a much higher quality of entry with Crash. We drew a much higher quality of entrant. Average quality of entrant is with cash prize money on the line, down the line, right? Even if this is just a route to get there, right?
Yeah. Well, I find that interesting that, and I guess we're going to see this quite a lot, but I mean, obviously Sadman is a very good example who's in chat of players potentially coming back to the game now. We're heading towards a release date, a final version. It's coming out of beta. Everybody, this is the game you're going to be playing. So are you in or are you out type of thing?
Right. Welcome to round 1 of Weekend Tournament European number 71. Route to qualifying for the Launch Clash tournament, beginning with Sunnyside versus Dorgon. Sunnyside, near side, an elite specialist with a crawler and stormcaller start. Dorgon, far side, a cost control specialist with an arclight and stormcaller start. Pretty much perfect mirrors of each other. Let's go. Who do you like in this one, Zach?
I mean, I really like Sunnyside because I always expect Sunnyside to do something quite interesting. But Dorgon has got a really solid defense from what I've seen of his matches, so it's gonna be an interesting one for sure.
Dorgon?
I think I prefer.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, Dorgon has the gorgeous Arclight skin, the gold Arclight skin available.
Yeah.
And look at this. They have matched the perfect symmetry. 3 crawlers into 3 Arclights, 2 crawlers into 2 Arclights, and not only that, they have lined up perfectly opposite each other.
Yes.
It's about as symmetrical as you could make this game.
Yeah. The elite obviously is going to take this round unless a miracle happens, but yeah, it's going to be interesting if Dorgon can just produce enough units to to deal with this elite. But I suppose on card picks, would you say Sunnyside has it?
I mean, cost control into elite can be really painful because that's such a disadvantage trying to fight level 2 units with debuffed level 1 units.
Yeah.
And Dorgon floated the 100, didn't take a tower update.
As we saw, yeah, the elite takes it. But if I was Dorgon, I'd be thinking about maybe just 2 more Stormcallers, just because you can afford it right now. Just bang them down.
Right. Fire Badger for Sunnyside, we've got the unit drop now, and there can be 1 unit reinforcement drop in rounds 2, 3, and 4. There'll be another in rounds 5, 6, and 7. There'll be another in rounds 8, 9, and 10. Only one of those 3 rounds in each group can have a unit drop, and the unit drops can't be back-to-back, so you won't see one in round 4 and round 5. Obviously, it doesn't apply here, because we saw one in round 2. Dorgon's still giving it some thought, has the choice of Phoenix, Typhoon, or Tarantula. While we'll jump out to see what Sunnyside has done. Added a pair of level 2 marksmen and a fire badger up the middle. So it looks very standard, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to do, the Phoenix. And obviously Sunnyside thought that too.
Right. Dorgon takes the Phoenix, buys a second Phoenix, and we're doing, did we flank with one? Yes, does. So down here in the corner, there's a flank Phoenix. Puts his level 2 where he's going to want it long term, has the level 1 on the flank where if it is countered like it is, the marksman here will win this fight. So once that's countered, when he sees that that's been hard countered, he's just going to sell out of it and not be horribly out.
I don't know, that's the thing with cost control, right? I mean, you could hard commit and get your 3rd unit, you could put in a crawler then, and just kind of commit a few more resources to it, just to kind of upset Sunnyside maybe.
Now, is it just me, or did Dorgon forgo a deploy that last round and float 300? If so, Dorgon's going to have... Nope, they only have 700 showing, so I missed what their last purchases were.
No, it was he did a crawler and
crawler mid. Got it. Crawler mid and both tower updates. Cool. So, expecting to see him sell out of this. Sunnyside has unlocked Fangs. Of course, has to put a Fang screen in front of the marksman over here, I would think. Probably on the other side as well.
This subsidized arc light is just amazing for Sunnyside. Just
Yeah, now you can go into carry arc light. Has all the carry arc light techs available. If you're looking to run this build, it's range enhancement, charged shot, elite marksman, and anti-aircraft ammunition. You just get to this, I'm building this massively ranged arc light build, and you just keep buying them at level 2 and taking the techs on them. Probably either range or charged shot first. Charged shot if you're fighting things that are tanky, like steel balls or whatever, ranged otherwise, if you're in this standard B standard. Dorgon has taken a Scorpion with portable shield and just puts them straight opposite the Fire Badger.
I think it was the other tech I was wowing, the quantum reassembly, just like, yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm not gonna sell out of the flank Phoenix. You can shoot them. Go right ahead. I'll have them show back up over here.
Which, I don't know, how do you feel about that? I mean, it does give the marksman, free, free kills.
Isn't it free experience? Like, he gets experience for those kills, right? I mean, he's already leveled this, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely gets experience.
Yeah.
He's getting loads of experience.
I think selling that and rebuying it would have been a better choice. And yes, Jerry Hattrick points out there's actually even EMP on the marksman if you want to just turn that trick off.
I mean, I'm hoping he puts some chaff in front of them. He's left the space, but then, of course, he's dealing with level 3 brawlers in that corner now. So maybe he just needs to sell out of them.
So to answer Saab's question from before the match started, so you just need to win 2 tournaments. 2 weekend tournaments to qualify. I won one a long time ago. Do I just need to win one more? No, the answer is actually you would need to win 2 of the upcoming 8, including the one that has just started. And the cutoff date was the 63rd, and was week 63, I should say. We just said we were going to take the 2-time winners from week 63 to week 73. That way we're not reserving a slot for somebody who quit the game, 4 or 5 months ago and hasn't come back, is out of practice or whatever. Let's just have people who are going to make a good showing because they've been active in the game. There are wasps in that corner now as well. Sunnyside adding the improved wasps. So these things have an extra 20 range, an extra attack, extra hit points. Yes, winning 2 on the same day definitely counts. Both Apooche and Dachshund did it that way. Blue Hair, Flower Fairy, Rooster, and Steel Sane did it by separating them out. Rooster won the same tournament on back-to-back weeks. That's one way to do it. Steel Sane did his 6 weeks apart. Blue Hair did theirs, I think, 2 weeks apart, 3 weeks apart maybe. And then 1/3 for good measure.
Really painful.
They have level also. No tax on them, so he's not even committed, hard committed to them. But with a level in them, you've got to figure he's going to take something on them. He's also got what I would think of as carry wasp tax, range, elite marksman, anti-air, and shield. Sabertooths for Sunnyside. You have the unit drop again. Vulcan, Typhoon, Wraith, the other options. Dorgon takes Vulcan. It is the standardest of standard choices. Now, Dorgon did prep for those wasps with Mustangs and an itemized Mustang last round. So it's just the fact that the Mustangs had all died by the time the wasps came out of this back corner. So that might change if he sells out of this flank, and he's already sold the Phoenix out of it. He's bought range on the Mustangs. That's going to make a difference. He's got a level 2 Vulcan in front of those Mustangs to clear chaff and ensure that the Mustangs live a lot longer. This thing's very tanky at 79,000 hit points, even as cost control. He's bought back most of the deficit here. Level 2 on towers. Of course, Sunnyside's still ahead on, numbers, because they have also bought the attack and hit points from tower.
That Vulcan's getting hit so hard by the Sabertooths.
Oosh. Those Sabertooths really did punch through the Vulcan. Wow, Sunnyside, go! She has won every single round, drops Dorgon down to 976, came 4th in the Americas last week. Dorgon came 8th in Asia this week. She is crushing it right now, and takes electromagnetic impact where it can hit 2 of the units that she would really want to debuff to turn off attack on, the Scorpion and the Vulcan. 2 more Scorpions for Dorgon.
In every round, Sunnyside has figured out what Dorgon's going to do. Every single round. I mean, really good game sense.
Now ranges the wasps. Right, bought a second pack of them on the other side. And yeah, you're right, this has just been exceptionally good game sense. Only thing that's at all flawed, if you can even call it that, is that this shield bubble is protecting against the electromagnetic impact that hasn't dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that oil.
I mean, you guys might think that that is calling out something that is silly, right? Like, oh, it doesn't matter that much. The game is not that important. Yeah, each little decision is not that important. But, we saw the game between Flower Fairy of Penglai and Dillo in the Asia tournament this week, earlier today, in fact, came down to 2 rounds, one where Dillo didn't place a mobile beacon and could have, and had units distracted, and second round had placed one of those free missiles and caught half the pack he meant to hit plus 1 other pack instead of all of the pack he meant to hit.
Wow.
And that is it. Those 2 little things. The game changes. Congrats to Switcher on a win in a round 1 in Advanced Group 1. And Squish says, I have officially tilted Lord Clinkariot into calling bad game. Well, congratulations, I think, Squish. Yeah, Sunny taking no prisoners drops the Ion Beam to hit Scorpion. It's going to pick up most of this pack of Storms, probably pick up most of this pack of Mustangs, and I think the Vulcan is going to get... it might, if it's lucky, walk out, but I don't think it will. Yeah. So, Dorgon is placing the ion beam explicitly to hit this pack of level 4 wasps. Oh, by the way, it'll also come off through a whole bunch of other key things. But that pack of wasps splits. You're only going to get half of it. There's still half of them alive that have targeted onto this mobile beacon. And those two outran it because they're just fast that way. Yeah, as I said, the Vulcan did outrun the ion beam, so the placement not quite ideal from Sunny's perspective there, but still accomplished most of the work they were hoping for. But, you know, Sunny might have needed to win that right side a little bit harder with the ion beam doing great work for Dorgon on the left.
Go Dorgon!
Dorgon, on 189 hit points, turns it around. Not clean swept, at least. Drops Sunnyside to 3550. Now, there's a lot of builds where you need to knock them out early before they come online, and, you know, Vulcan Phoenix is definitely one of them. This is going to be Vulcan Phoenix with a side of Scorpion and a side of Fortress. It's not the traditional build, Dorgon, but okay, carry on. I had a spoiler.
Interesting pick up Fortress. Does he go anti-air barrage? Is that what he's looking for? He must be.
Oh yeah, and here come the carry arc light techs for Sunny. Charged shot, the ad. So range elite, charged shot. These things are up to, you know, the level 2 has 158 meter range and hits for 3,200 damage every 1.2 seconds. Now, Arclight, that recent change went to, dropped it from 1.1 second to 0.9 seconds in the default state, which means that the charged shot debuff, 35% increase in time, only increases the firing rate back up to 1.2, which is barely worse than that was to begin with, you know, before the improvement to them. So Carry Arclight is definitely a viable build, and it certainly looks viable from here. If anything, the only flaw with this is that we're letting the Mustangs, or letting the Wasps get out in front and get shot down by the Mustangs. Luckily, we've still got the 2 marksmen left to handle the Phoenix. We've got a good set of anti-missile to handle these last few barrages from the Stormcallers. And
GG.
Go Sunnyside. Well played. Sunnyside says, "Oh, hey, I'm on screen." Yes, you are. Sunnyside,
very
2000 MMR player, clean, all but clean sweep against Dorgon. Really, really nicely played. Comment in the middle of that one, Sunny, was the Dorgon is here with the carry arcs are still my problems, not one of my best games. Said, well played, Sunny, good luck next. And that's the kind of gentleman that I really appreciate having in the game. Somebody like Dorgon. So really well played, both of you, and love the gentleman's spirit afterwards. Anything you wanted to add on this board, Zach, from an analyst perspective? Anything that?
No, I mean, I thought the last round pickup with the forts was kind of odd because obviously they were doing the same sort of thing. I was thinking maybe, okay, are they going to be anti-air forts? Are they going to be shielded forts? But it was so challenging. As we said, Sunnyside, every round you predicted what Dorgon was going to do, and it's so hard when you're playing from behind as Dorgon and you're already in a disadvantage. So I think it was just a really hard match to come back from. So yeah. Both really well played, good positioning.
I'd say you had you called it out. In fact, when Dorgon had the Phoenix flank and then took quantum reassembly on it. I feel like that was probably the deciding factor in terms of it didn't get enough value for the expenditure. It made all of the other techs on Phoenix more expensive, and he did wind up having to sell out of that flank anyways. So it's probable that just selling out of it that round and rebuying that Phoenix somewhere else would have been better. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was an idea you wanted to try, says Dorgon, but it failed hard. There were some upsets in Asia in round 1. wOOt, in fact, lost round 1. It shows up here as the number 1 seed and beats Doomslayer. Tungdill gets the win. Bradbury beats Zemp. So your instincts were spot on as to who to cast. You're officially in charge of round 2, my friend.
Okay.
Zemp, yeah. Mayday says Zemp said he's struggling this patch. Maybe he's a little tilted. So it could happen. He also came really, really close, right? And, Rooster said that also. He said this patch was not suiting him. And it's not like Rooster's sitting back there running, Vulcan Phoenix Standard, Vulcan Marksman from Standard all the time. So it's not that it's, favoring one direction or another. It's just certain patches don't suit certain players. And it's interesting to hear 2 players of Rooster and Zemp's qualities have the same feedback about a patch. Cast gets a win over Irwin. Zemp says, I'm probably going to drop the game before the patch. Playing defense is simply impossible now. Yeah, rough one there, Zemp. HD Susauer, Jay Shoots both win. Jota, this would have been the worst possible match to... That was the other one you wanted to watch, right? The match where opponent didn't ready up. Okay, so Zach either picks the best or the worst possible. Got it.
Yeah, well, we may have changed from the one that didn't ready up.
Right.
Okay.
Fair enough. Flix, Pierre Petit, Reven getting the wins. Sunnyside over Dorgon. Riverskende beats Eleanor. Fanatics over Dionys. Odyssey beats Ezeel. FreakBob, that is Baller, beat Mumbo Jumbo. Soja over Fresh Pro. Sparty beats Gawkle. Gawkle, that's solid. That's a solid win for Sparty. Sir Limbo and Chill are on it at the moment. They're one of the few matches remaining in progress. We'll come back to that, though, because T-Man over Renate. Zillalag beats Yakimaru. Zillalag, very high MMR right now in 1v1. Took a look at that. Godius Prime, Underdog, Squish, and Eliminati beats Spell Randy. Void Insanity, Doxson getting wins. Void Insanity beat Miasim. Doxson beats Mike Tyson. And Toast, thank you so much for the gift sub to Zemp. Much appreciated. Fishmob beat Ryder Live. Rice and KM Peck are still close. Rice, of course, is one of the players who can qualify with a with a win in this tournament, can qualify for the cash prize tournament. OnlyFangs needed all but 56 hit points to beat Kamos. Play Archer, the number 6 seed and defending champion, beat Zinthorel. Rooster and Apooche both won in what looks like pretty clean sweeps. Further down the bracket, Malan, TNT, Pancho Osan, Disoriented Fox, the Quintessential Dude, Zamos all getting wins. Zamos beat, Zamos, Ape in Shape, Terrence Chill, Hopsky, Fear No God, Switcher, Fet Kaza, Firehair, Kenshin's, Eos, Dry Leaves, PDP Brawl, Grey Cloak, all with wins. Blunted Baboon's opponent never readied up. I think this is Sennheiser, the Captain, Killjoy, Daniil, Uter, Duncan, Citizen George, Costa, James S. Andrew, and Mr. Spider, and all the way down at the 127th seed, we are almost as full as you could possibly be. Johnny MC Banjo beats Dodge. Ich bin the better. He is the player with the bye. Apparently the 94th seed gets the bye. Further up here, Sir Limbo did beat Till. Congratulations. Till is one of the invited curators who's in the had an immediate advance to the cash prize tourney that's coming up, the Mechabellum Launch Clash. Who else had we not called out? I think Pierre Petit beat Zenzuzex. And was it HD Susauer? Were you still... they'd won easily, it looks like. So I think that is it. Gives us 30 seconds or so. wOOt, Apooche, Tungdill, Rooster, Play Archer. The top 5 seeds. Cast 6th, OnlyFangs, HD Susauer, J-Shoots, and Fishmob rounding out the top 10. We are into round 2. The other one that stood out to me was wOOt versus Till, with Till in the spoiler role.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout. I think that's the best 2 players, so I think it sort of makes sense.
Switcher, yes, Fanatics is very good. I did actually promise to play a Switcher match at one point, so we could take Switcher versus Fanatics if you're down for that. They're unbeaten. They're in Advanced Group 1.
Yeah, which one are you saying? Switcher versus Fanatics.
Yeah, that could be the other one. Just on the grounds that we had promised Switcher a watch.
All right, well, let's do it in this round, because we'll get a chance to see wOOt and Till, and wOOt's already,
Till lost a round already, so we don't get a chance to see Till.
Right, okay.
So,
okay. Let's do Fanatics and Switcher, yeah?
Perfect. Welcome to round 2 of Weekend Tournament European number 71. We've got Fanatics versus Switcher. Fanatics near side blue, the heavy favorite. Switcher far side red, making the jump up from, you'll see in a moment, making the jump up to the top division. We did promise Switcher that we would cast one of their matches, so here you are, you're unbeaten. You're up against the, one of the top 10 seeds in the qualifying tournament, if he doesn't get out by winning 2 of the weekend tournaments. So, Fanatics, a supply specialist with Crawler and Steel Ball. You can see them setting up aggro right. Switcher, a Farseer specialist. Came second runner-up, so 3rd place finisher in the mini tournament. Intermediate Group 3 this week. So, Fanatics willing to put those arc lights right up on the line. This is something I'm not always brave enough to do. You can see that he used crawlers over here to measure to make sure he had a 5 gap to the front line that he's allowed to place on round 1. That ensures that he has a 7x7 gap right here for a War Factory later in the game. And now switching that steel ball just a little bit further back, maybe to move the arc light back a step, or maybe not. The opening volley from the Storms is well positioned to lock in on the arc light. But Fanatics is going to be pretty happy when he sees that Switcher All right, welcome back to those of you that missed part of the match due to a connection issue. I apologize, I do need to get that one fixed. We have had the unit drop, where Fanatics took a... Well, so first off, Fnatic won the end of round 1, took the right side tower with the steel balls, went from right to left to drop Switcher to 31-32. On round 2, took the Mustang, level 2 Mustang drop, added a level 1 Mustang, added a flank crawler. For Switcher, it looks like, has added a couple of marksmen. Had a trio of marksmen, presumably from the drop. But the Mustang drop really suits what Fanatics was going for. At this point, it's ball crawl staying, and the missile. There was a sentry missile there that drops into the far right, takes out a whole bunch of steel balls and one arc light. It's not enough to win Switcher the round, but there is an important element that achieved, and I'm going to point it out real quick. Switcher takes the improved firepower control, so does Fanatics. But here's the thing, this steel ball did not gain the level. This one did. He couldn't missile it out because there was good shaft placement on both sides, but he could missile this one out and prevented it from leveling, which could be important for him. It also saved a few hundred hit points of damage. So you might think of this as minus 50, but it's actually a pretty heads-up play to stop the steel ball from leveling. Fanatics adds the arc light in the corner to make this pull even more brutal. The marksman should win that eventually, but he's really just relying on this pull to buy time for the attack up the front. Now, Switcher was a Farseer specialist, has the Farseer arriving, picks up another one to be participating on the front. I'd like to see that one out right about here so it can cover all the way to the back corner without having to move. But it's in pretty good shape. Note that Fanatics has left this side completely open. The only defense out there is that he's leveled this tower up from level 1 to level 2, so it has 23,400 hit points, and instead of having a 9-second debuff the way that this one would, hitting that tower but not the other one will only debuff Fanatics units for 7 seconds. But look at this beautiful pull. He's just got this wide open run for something to go straight into that tower. Now he's left that gap open for a war factory with a mobile beacon, and that is presumably what he's planning to throw into that hole as soon as he possibly can.
Those Mustangs are they're just so painful for him right now. It was a drop, and then he got the improved firepower control, and they are the ones winning this right now because of taking the tower that early is just opening Switcher up completely.
Mm-hmm. And it's that pull in the corner that is opening him up so hard. He's down to 22-29. The Fangs up front are buying very little against the Mustangs. Yes, I completely agree with Geriatric. In fact, they're almost feeding experience to them. Right, because the Mustangs arrive at them before the arc lights do. These arc lights could almost be sold at this point, although they're getting some value against the crawlers.
Now, I wonder if he does that missile again, he probably gets the Mustangs. So I'm really okay. So, and I think Fanatics realizes that.
Yeah, this is. If you're wondering how do you protect against that, because normally you'd want to put your crawler right about here, and then you can't put the war factory there. You put the crawler here, and it draws that missile. And the further over he goes, if it's too far over, he'll draw it off to this pack. But that's why I found this arc light surprising, right? Because obviously a missile targeting that arc light is only going to hit the arc light and the steel ball. But there was a position over here that Zach was calling out that could hit all three of them.
And I actually think if he had a missile that was dead straight on that other arc light, and it was delayed, so it was always going to go for the arc light, but it was as far back as it could.
Right.
I think it would have got the other pack as well. So, but anyway,
could be fun. Would be neat to see for sure. But yeah, here's that missile. He tried it exactly like you were saying. He tries that and it hits the chaff pack. It's a beautiful read from Fanatics that was coming. Drops it. And again, we've opened this whole front up so badly. Look at that they're just all the way in. Hit the tower already. It's yeah. This is what I was trying to do when I was doing those sledge flanks back in the day. That was how I imagined them working. But it turns out things that move 16 meters a second do it a heck of a lot better. And these crawlers are eventually going to get that tower. See? It
Well
was
done.
just a little late. But good work, guys. You did your job. It's not your fault the rest of the army didn't do theirs. Swisher down to 997 hit points. Fanatics on a clean 4,100 right now. Takes the subsidized storms.
Really odd pick on energy absorption. I'm not sure why he needed that. There was nothing on the field that he needed for that. I would have liked to have seen the armor enhancement.
For my guess, it's that he was looking at 4x4 gaps and thinking that there was going to be a Vulcan showing up.
Right. Yeah. And that's just really painful. Cheeky Stormcaller. Just to see how...
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's working at qualifying for a cash prize tourney, right? It's a no mercy. Has the completely unprotected tower. This is why you've got to have some chaff unit in this area. It can't even be right up on the line, right? Because the storms would have shoot over the top of it.
Yeah.
So he's aiming. You need one chaff right about here. Maybe this chaff or this chaff needed to be placed there.
Yeah. Another great read in the missile turrets down. I mean, you know, just done it. Perfect. Really strong aggro game.
Yeah. Farseer adds anti-missile. Switcher also adds a pair of Vulcans. It's a round later than Fanatics was worried about. So, True. To be fair, Swish, you can buy some chaff instead of leveling up the tower, but since that wasn't done either, the tower goes down on the very first volley of storms put together. They do just enough to take down a tower. And, yeah, with the tower debuff, this is just going to be comprehensive. Switcher, a player on the up and getting better, has a game to save replay and learn from. This is how aggro is done at the 2000 MMR level, right? Because Fanatics didn't pull any punches here, right? So Switcher can go back, save that replay, and look at what could I have done on round 1 from my round 3 position. What could I have done on round 4, right? And if he forgot to save replay, it'll be available to him in the tournament. Right, you can go click on yourself, find all of your games, and find everything out about that playstyle. Now, the other game that might be very interesting. Till has 3,100 hit points, has wOOt down to 1,100. Is wOOt in one of those builds that comes good late? Let's join that match and find out.
Awesome.
Looks like we are in round 6 of this one. And wOOt, kind of predictably, has 3 aggro overlords. This is his known playstyle. If you are up against wOOt, expect this somewhere. If you are overloaded to defend one side, he's going to be attacking you on the other with boats. And
yeah, I mean he's also known for this kind of jump drive move right at the end, but you can see Till has it totally covered.
Right. I'm not going to let you jump drive over this. Ooh, Jerry Hattrick with the insider info. Has noted a tendency that wOOt has. So if you were here for this one live, congrats, you get the insider info.
If you happen to come up against wOOt and happen to be in the top 1% of players.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. A bonus,
very useful.
A bonus for those of you that catch me live rather than joining the casts on delay somewhere.
Absolutely.
Till does add a flank with Crawler and Phoenix. This will be, the Crawler is to eat the missile. A sentry missile can only hit either air or ground, so if you stagger one ground target and one air target together like this, the sentry missile only takes one of them out. However, the 5 overlords with chin guns marched through, got the far side tower, and this Phoenix flank is going to be awful late to getting the level 3 research center over here. Wait, we had a chat v chat that we missed noticing? Zalex versus Teddy. Win for Teddy, congratulations. wOOt wins round 6, drops Till to 1978. wOOt at 1022.
Oh.
Mass-produced fort is an interesting pickup, especially with the Phoenix on the board and teched, right? He's going to take 3 of them, can use them across from each of the towers that are contested. Obviously, the far left one's not particularly contested.
Really
right
interesting.
now. It's going to be 2 up front instead. But I mean, we used to talk about it as sledge / overlord aggression. This is, you know, I had noticed a long time ago in my sledge play that fort can start to replace your sledge as the game gets a little older. So you get deeper into the game, you can sell out of your sledges and go into forts. You don't have to stay in tanks, right? And wOOt doing exactly that. It is sledge overlord aggression, but now it has morphed into, let's call it fort overlord aggression, with a level 3 nano repair overlord as the centerpiece, and he's relying on double missiles in the flank, one to handle the ground and then a second one a little bit deeper to handle the air.
The launcher overload as well, what a time to press it. It's just like the one time he possibly doesn't want it is right now, but
right,
I'm
shortening the range.
I don't think he was expecting mass-produced forts.
No, definitely not reading it. wOOt, of course, the #1 overall seed in this tourney, seeds by combat power, had a shock exit in round 1 of the weekend tournament Asia this morning, and making up for it with looking like a pretty comprehensive round win here. Till does get to tower with on the right side, but it's a level 3 tower. By the time he gets it down, there's not much left on the board for him to fight with. It's certainly not going to stand up to 7 giants worth of units. 7 giants worth of units is 2,800 points of damage on the hit point bar. That is the value of these mass-produced forts. Even though they're not even in this late fight, they're still going to be 400 hit points each on the bar.
Boom.
And yeah, drops Till in 2 rounds. He goes from 3,000 hit points to dead. Once wOOt's power builds come online, they are online. Till, of course, will be in that Launch Clash tournament. Looking forward to that. And wOOt is looking to qualify, basically to try and make those of you who are going to be in the qualifier tournament make your job a little bit easier, because you won't have to come up against wOOt. That is his goal. Going around the group, we would expect to see the favorites win most of these. It'll be notable if the favorite does not. So wOOt, Play Archer, OnlyFangs, J-Shutz, Jota, Flix, and Eliminati all get their wins. Sunnyside is really close to closing it out against EOS. Rivruskende, Fanatics, as we saw, Odyssey, and Baller all getting their wins. Soja as well. Squish with a solid win over Ferret Master. KM Peck, and you get down to the middle, there is no particular favorite. Malon beat Bradbury. It's the other game we were considering. Other side, favorites again. Void Insanity, Sir Limbo getting the wins. T-Man, Zillalag. Underdog was not the underdog. Reven and Pierre Petit all getting wins. Dachshund, Fishmob, HD Susauer, Cast, and Apooche getting the wins. There is your upset. I said Rooster has not been feeling this patch, does not love this patch right now. And he takes a round 2 upset to the number 61. James S. Andrew would have been something like the 123rd seed out of this tournament, maybe 121st, and knocks off a Rooster for probably the highlight of his gaming career. Well done, sir. Very nice. We've got one match left in ongoing, but I wanted to check around. What were the matches we hadn't seen? Tungdil did finish out against Mr. Spider. Who else did we not know about? Baller finished out against Ape in Shape. He did join and say he almost lost against Ape in Shape. We saw Sparty finish against Samos. Fetikatsa has beaten Godius Prime, so another upset here. Well done. Again, getting a round 2 upset is probably one of the hardest tasks in the game. You can see we only had 2 of them, right? So,
pretty significant ones though, but yeah, only 2 that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both significant, but there were only 2. That's why I often think if there was an odd number, the 1 versus the top player with 1 loss is usually one of the best games in round 2 to pick as a caster if you're going to cast the neutrals. And Sparty points out, wOOt is now the lowest undefeated seed. So he was first. He faces up against Till, who was 0-1. Every other undefeated is playing a 1-0. So wOOt's first round opponent is 0-1 coming into this match. Till is 0-1, so wOOt has no minor points from that. He beats Till, so he doesn't get a minor point from Till. And if his first round opponent lost, he could be sitting on 0 minor points right now, which would, in fact, drop him to the very bottom if Doomslayer lost or abandoned. So wOOt is now the worst possible. Went from being the first seed to being the 32nd seed. Of course, that means
he's gonna have to do it the hard way. So
that means
that's the shout.
That means we know what match we're gonna watch. Don't even need to look at the rest of the matchups. Looking around for some of the other interesting matches that would have loved to cast in any other week. You're going to have Jota against Doxson, HD Susauer against Eliminati, Cast against Reven would be interesting. James S. Andrew is up to 11th seed in this tournament, which sounds great until you realize that means he's going to be facing Fanatics. Ouch. Baller will be up against T-Man, so tough draw for both of them. So there's going to be a lot of great matchups. Like I said, having the cash prize money on the line, even if this is just one route to qualify for that, it has hugely increased the amount of interest in these weekend tournaments. So I'm hoping that Bear Like is taking notice of that. Obviously, we will be in Apooche versus wOOt.
Sure will.
But there are some other really great matchups. Ruvrskende versus Sir Limbo. Oh, Doxson versus Jota. Eliminati versus HD Susauer. Soja versus Zillalag. Oh my goodness, there are some good ones.
Yeah.
Good luck, have fun. Don't forget to ready up if you are in this tournament. You don't want to forget. Welcome to round 3 of Weekend Tournament European number 71, featuring Apooche versus wOOt. Headline match, 2 former champions. Apooche, of course, qualified for the Mechabellum launch clash by winning both tournaments on weekend 68. wOOt coming off of a Weekend Tournament European win, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where he beat Bear Like in the final for Weekend Tournament 69. Looking to book his place in the launch clash by winning here tonight.
Those are exactly the picks that I thought both players were going to take.
Oh.
So, real interesting.
wOOt is a giant specialist with Crawler and Steel Ball, which will suit an aggro push from the man. And Apooche, a Farseer specialist, took Tarantula and Marksman. Now, we saw earlier in the tournament, and Jerry Hattrick said, wOOt has a tendency. And Apooche clearly knows the tendency. This is not a guess.
No point worrying about the left-hand side, because it's all coming down from the right. Yeah.
He knows where this is gonna come.
He doesn't even put a unit over there. That's insane.
Yeah, I noticed that Mike Tyson was doing that. Look at the auto camera zoom in on here. It's like I don't even have to show you guys the rest of the battlefield. We can zoom in on this stuff. This is gonna be great. We're gonna get up close and personal for round 1, guys.
Superb read.
Look at the artwork in this game. These guys have done such a great work. Game releases on September 26th. I'm super excited for it. And this round is going to be really close. Marksmen finish off the steel balls. They don't have quite enough to finish off the arc lights. Oh, they do! Apooche's defense holds. wOOt down to 4,400 on a single surviving unit. Apooche's at 4,100. Art gets to shine. An artist worked hard on each and every one of these units. Round 2, we get the unit reinforcement drop. 3 fangs can really help a defensive push like this. A defense like this when you are going up against a push. Just to be able to slow things down. Drop some chaff units that you hadn't had to worry about the deploys for. And drop units you really wanted elsewhere. Apooche, of course, takes his time. And actually opts for the Mustangs. Now, I would have expected wOOt to take the Mustangs and Apooche to take the Fangs. It's the other way around.
Absolutely right.
It's the other way around.
The other way around.
wOOt takes the Fangs because he wants something that he can put up front, and he wants to be able to put shield on them if he needs to ensure this is going to draw sentry missiles, right? And Apooche doesn't want to take the Fangs because he's expecting wOOt to take the Mustangs and chew them up with Mustangs. So,
and I think he's also expecting boats in his near future.
In his future, and of course, wasps were on offer, which is probably the single biggest worry for Apooche. You can see he is covering the wasp flank, which would be unwise, and the wasp front corner, which I think is what he was expecting. He gets crawlers on the front corner instead, but he still has a pack of Mustangs out there to handle it. Which it does successfully. For wOOt, there was this late arriving Fang in a flank screening position, also worried about the wasps, right?
Yeah.
So it was out there.
I mean, it's incredible how that's changed the board. That one pack of crawlers has just completely ripped Apooche's board apart.
Right, you are talking about the crawler right here that pulls so much of the defensive formation wide, and it leaves an opening in between it. We looked at, we've watched Goff the Great a couple of times, and he's able to pull off some amazing upset wins. And there was one where he fell a little bit short. From my perspective, it was he had created the kind of opening that wOOt has just created, and then didn't know how to explicitly exploit that specific opening. So it'll be interesting to see what wOOt does to really observe this micro, right in here. Observe how wOOt plays it, observe how Apooche plays it, see what they're doing both to exploit that opening and then to close it off. And again, all of it is being made from this crawler, which is protecting this pack from missile, but also creating this tremendous pull all the way down to these units in the very back. When Apooche adds range enhancement on these Mustangs, it's going to help. He's also got the Farseer arriving down here and puts a Tarantula on the far side tower.
Yeah, and this incendiary is going to be brutal for wOOt, but it's interesting. So he took this turn to do the far left flank.
Deep, yeah.
Well, I'm not winning straight up, so I'll just take this opportunity to get those units in.
And it's a brutal flank, right? It's got the arc light to tank, essentially to tank the Mustangs and eat the crawlers. And it's going to pull these guys enough that once he has armor and those things are established on the flank, he's going to have crawlers getting straight into the Apooche's left side tower.
Yeah.
And again, I think you're exactly right. He looked at the incendiary and said, I'm not likely to win this round, so I'm going to throw away. I know I'm going to lose it. It's not going to make a huge difference to me if I take 500 hit points or 800 hit points this round. So I'm going to spend the time to establish the far side flank.
That's it.
Efficient tech research for wOOt. Apooche thinking about lightning storm, advanced shield device. I mean, tech research is the greed play, right? For wOOt.
Yeah,
For wOOt.
I would think he would go advanced shield knowing Apooche, but maybe he does go efficient tech.
I mean,
No, he goes pounding him. Okay.
I was thinking wOOt should storm because this game could go long enough that that storm comes back, right? It's round 4. If this game goes to round 9, having a storm show up that you didn't have to pay for can be amazing. And Apooche is really tightly packed, right?
Wow.
So a storm down in here would be amazing. Instead, you're going to get the storm on wOOt's attack and Oiks.
I don't think he needed to do that, but I mean, okay, interesting.
He also, what have we done here? Yeah. wOOt adds a Vulcan with laser sights right in the middle of the storm. It is not going to have as much support as he thinks it's going to have later on, but obviously Apooche builds such good chaff boards. Vulcan already a strong unit. It's going to be great into an Apooche board every single game. It's not that Apooche does not have answers to it, but that Tarantula will be able to level, and Apooche is going to notice just how locked the Vulcan was on it. So I expect that to get its level.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that cost him 350 to win by that much. I suppose in his mind, he's like, yeah, let's put him on the defensive.
He halved wOOt's hit points. He's dropped him to 1,500.
Yeah.
Now he has to worry about the Vulcan drop. He has to worry about the Wasp drop. You know, he can't just ignore something like this and be like, yeah, well, if it happens, it happens. So he's taking the Wasps defensively. He's leveled this up to level 2. He's trying to make sure it doesn't get a rough flank out there. There is, in fact, a Wasp swarm. wOOt also adds a pair of sandworms with replicate.
Wow. Okay.
Seems a little late to pivot to Worm, Wasp, Wraith, aggro. You don't have any of the 3 units on after round 4, but
yeah, it's really interesting. Maybe because, when you're looking at it, you're thinking, what can actually kill these worms? They have any kind of support.
Yeah, there is no DPS on Apooche's board, is what wOOt is going to be thinking. But we've got level 2 Mustangs, we've got level 2 Marksmen. We could level this Farseer.
Yeah. They all do. They're all going to contribute to this. I mean, he has got 2 of them right next to each other, so... Oh, the spider mines.
Well, the spider mines sound good at first blush, but that might have been the read for the sandworm with replicate specifically. Right? Because the mines can cause them to pop up and down a lot more than they would otherwise. Right here, for example. And you just got 2 little replicates out of it. One of them, now they're both back under, right? So, that play looked worse to me right up until Apooche clicked Spider Mine. And those Wasps do arrive. They get in there behind. They go down to the Mustangs, not quite reaching tower in time. And, I said this Vulcan was going to get locked. That Vulcan got locked. Level 2 Tarantula did so much work there. Apooche,
Else the
wow.
Vulcan now
Wins that
repositions it. Maybe.
wins that round anyways. Drops wOOt down under 800 hit points. wOOt on the ropes. Gets the Wraith. It is transitioning to Worm Wraith Wasp aggro.
Wow. That Rhino could be a problem though. That's likely to deal with the sandworms.
Yeah, Mech Rage Rhino should just eat those sandworms for dinner. No problem. Congrats to Baller and Sir Limbo, who both got wins to get to 3-0. Nicely
Good
done.
job, guys.
We'll cover those games in a moment. Well, assuming this one ends this round, which I kind of think
Feels
it will
like-
with the oil in play. Oil, of course,
well,
coming
it's
off the tower.
Wraith, right? Field maintenance Wraith, but I think those marksmen, there is 3 of them and they're level 2.
It's a field maintenance wraith and the signature Overlord with Overlord artillery. It
That
wouldn't.
feels a bit random. That really, look at that side of the board. It feels random.
No. That is wOOt making sure that we knew which side wOOt was on. I'm gonna say though, why not hit this wide open tower? I mean, if you're gonna bring in the Overlord with chin gun,
Yeah, and with a Wraith as well. Like, just bring it on that side. But maybe he's still got work to do. Oh, they've taken the. Wow, the worms did the damage on the Rhino.
I think the chin gun did a lot of that damage. But yeah, and some mines
right,
blowing
yeah,
up
yeah.
next to it, right?
Yeah.
But it is still gonna be. GG's, Apooche, a clean defense against wOOt. And that is the other one. You know, we talked about Switcher earlier playing defense against somebody at the 2000 MMR level and getting wrecked, right? So you find a game, you find your game, you save it, you see what the guy did against you, and then you find a game like this, and you save it, and you just take a look at the defensive formations. But
That's right, yeah.
For Apooche, I think this just came down to he wins because he knew wOOt's tendencies. wOOt had a side, he picked a side, and he just committed to, let's go. I'm just going to commit to defending that one side, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And he was not wrong. Yeah, Jerry Hattrick, you're not wrong. Adding more spiders and clicking mines on the round he did was very, very good. Even though it did create a few more replicates, it also really slowed the worms down to surface to drop to surface to drop, and he had enough DPS to handle the newly created units.
Yeah, and I would normally even go range there with the tarantulas on, even in a defensive position, but I guess range maybe would have been a wasted tech because everything's coming onto you, so why do you need range?
Right. That's just one of those little efficiencies that an Apooche will pick up, where I would have the same habit that you would of thinking, well, I'm getting value from range here, I'm getting value from range here, I'm even going to get a better first shot here and be able to turn on to these guys a little quicker. This guy's going to get a better first shot, but, you know, mine was just so much better value for him.
Yeah. Right. Well done.
Really, well, there's only a couple of matches still ongoing with unbeatens. We could step into
Blix and Void.
I was looking at Doxon and Jota.
Oh yeah. Sorry, go on, do that one.
Switcher says I lost again. You are at 1400 MMR, Switcher, right? I think I got that correct. You are up against a whole host of players who have a MMRs that level and higher, right? You're basically the underdog in almost every match. Don't worry about it. Shake it off. Your next match with 2 defeats, you'll be up against somebody who is about your level from combat power. It's the bottom group, and anybody who's on the maximum number of losses and still playing. they are matched up against somebody who's right next to their level for combat power. Dachshund, dog in chainmail, quick supply specialist near side with advanced offensive tactics. Jota, no oil, a fortified specialist far side with no other special cards. Dachshund winning round 7 with what looks like a marksman line coming online. He's got full carry techs available for those marksmen, range, elite marksman, EMP, and anti-air. We go into round 8 and say it's a 5 Vulcan line backed up by 5 marksmen for Jota. He does not have best partner online. Dachshund's so good at these long-range engagements. Here's the match where range on Tarantula was absolutely the right choice. Collapsing now for Dachshund. He does not survive the orbital bombardment round. Jota gets the round win against the dog. Woof! Pair of well over 2,000 MMR players here. Of course, Jota trying to qualify v tournament wins. Dachshund has already done so. Right, around the league, we've got 20 seconds to get through this. Apooche, OnlyFangs, Void Insanity, Sir Limbo, Sparty, Fanatics, Reven, Pierre Petit, Jota, Eliminati, Tungdill, Baller, Soja, Sunnyside, KM and at the high end, Fetakatse upsets Play Archer. Well done. Play Archer, of course, the defending champion, knocked out by Fetakatse. Well played. Let's go cat. The dog versus cat rivalry, of course, is legendary in this game. If you are new to the game, pick a side. 16 unbeatens. We are on path for 7-round tournament. What do we have? Sunnyside versus Void, Fanatics versus Tungdill, Jota versus Pierre Petit, Sparty versus Baller, Reven versus Fetakatse, OnlyFangs versus Eliminati, Sir Limbo versus Soja, and Apooche versus KM I will put us into Eliminati versus OnlyFangs then. I think both of
Sounds
them.
good.
Eliminati is already in the lunch clash tournament on grounds of invitation.
Scarlett, my kiddo, is she never understands. I said I'm streaming, so
Yo.
if possible, could we a little bit of decorum and quiet?
Right. Welcome to round 4 of a weekend tournament. European number 71. OnlyFangs, near side blue, Eliminati, far side red. Eliminati took the Sabertooth specialist with Steel Ball Arclight. OnlyFangs took a supply specialist with Sledgehammer Arclight. OnlyFangs, recognizing the possibility of Steel Ball attack, is Steel Ball aggro, I should say, is deploying the Sledgehammers vertically. This is one defense if you know you're likely to be facing Steel Ball aggro. Putting the sledges vertically can help. Adds crawlers behind towers and ensures that the arc lights are positioned. This middle one will go to whichever side the attack is coming from. So
Eliminati playing aggro. It's interesting. Known as an aggro player.
he's taken the Sabertooth specialist again, and we saw that Sabertooth Fang aggro last game from him. So
yeah.
He's going to be running Sabertooth Steel Ball aggro this time. Let's go.
Sabertooth aggro. Eliminati changing up the builds.
Zemp did say he felt like defense was too weak right now. And, of course, a lot of the aggro players would scoff at that as long as there is still 20 meters given away on the line and oil available from the towers.
Yeah.
But, aggro had felt like it was in a bad position for a while. It's feeling much stronger in the current patch. I've been loving running steel ball aggro packs this patch. My MMR is up dramatically for running that, I think. I've been practicing it when it was a lot weaker, and the fact that it's stronger right now just kind of played into what I was already practicing.
I'm really struggling with it, and I'm going to do some work with Void this week. We're in a team in Triple Tricksters, and I've been wanting to get back to aggro. See, Void's very good. So.
Well, Eliminati and the aggro win round 1. OnlyFangs down to 4250. Eliminati on 4700. Subsidized Mustangs, of course, would suit the aggro player, and Eliminati skips it. All right, OnlyFangs will take it in defense then.
Oh, Mr. Krieger. Hi.
And yo to Arnaud MCK. Welcome, welcome, guys. Eliminati, instead of taking the Mustangs, takes a pair of Wasps.
Sting.
With the Mustang drop on offer, perhaps joining or anticipating that opponent's going to think I'm going to take the Mustangs, he's going to have a counter for it, winds up playing himself into, I have the Wasps, you have the Mustangs. Alternately, he may just be planning that as part of the strat. He sold completely out of the Sabertooth rather than playing it, and relying on the steel balls to tank for the Wasps. Of course, the Wasps have a 50-meter range, the steel balls have a 45-meter range, and that was what made them a popular pairing way back in the day. You knew your steel balls would be out in front of your Wasps. Tanking for them keeps the Wasps alive. And that is exactly what happens on this round. Eliminati dropping OnlyFangs to 34-38 with what is started as a steel ball Wasp. He gets the Wraith on drop, which is pretty much perfect for him. And Marksman for OnlyFangs, so it has some single target damage to punch through the steel balls and punch through the Wraith.
Absolutely. Really needs it this round. Really needed that.
Yeah, it's exactly the pickup he needed. He does run aerial specialization on the bar. He's not going to click that until after he sees the Wraith, of course. The teched Wraith is going to be his cue that, you know, I need this. I need to have AA on the Marksman to get through it. With a tech, Eliminati can't just quickly sell out of it. With plus 35% hit point, this Wraith is up to 40,000 hit points. So, you know, plunking away at it at 4,600 per shot is just not going to be enough. I'm going to need the damage upped on it. Also,
really good read from OnlyFangs as well to put in extra set of Mustangs right on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's got all the different Wasp approaches covered, and it did perfectly counter this pack of Wasps, although it has also been pulled apart. So it's going to be defeat in detail for that outside Mustang.
Really good marksman placement though.
Yeah, the marksman is brilliant. Getting it done without the aerial specialization needed is just huge for them.
Yeah, really good.
Amazing defense, and of course, it's a great joke name, OnlyFangs. OnlyFangs does not run OnlyFangs.
Oh, smart marksman as well if he wants it, or improved firepower control. And I'm interested to see which he picks up.
Oh, I love smart marksman for OnlyFangs here. Yeah, that's what he takes. It's just so good for what he's doing, and right, does not even waste time. Hey, I won that last round. It's going to get worse. I am taking the aerial specialization so I can get rid of the Wraith. Eliminati has completely transitioned out of the ball crawl aggro that was winning early into Worm, Wraith, Wasp aggro. Of course, we studied this in detail with YesWin Big, who, by the way, shout out to YesWin Big. I was looking at the world leaderboard last night, and YesWin Big is close to breaking into the top 100 right now. So,
wow,
amazing
nice
work from that guy. Came in, said, I want to study. I want to study in a disciplined way. I want some coaching. Came to the channel, said, I want to purchase some coaching from you guys. Let's go. I'll do it on air. We'll do it live, but I want to learn this game at a high level. And with disciplined, direct approach, has gotten himself to a higher level than the guy coaching him.
Brilliant.
Congrats to you, sir. Well played.
Who's the coach?
Me.
All right. Good. Good to know.
All right. So if you want to reach the 2000 MMR level, you just need to have me coaching.
Amaroq is your coach.
Me coaching and his discipline.
Excellent.
So of course, this is one of the builds we studied in detail, and the Sandstorm is supposed to counter the Mustangs. So is the armor on the Wraith. So he has two different counters to the Mustangs. The Sandstorm, in theory, helps counter the Marksman, but OnlyFangs' positioning is so good that didn't happen.
It really is.
Winning that far side tower ensured that OnlyFangs was able to clean up the Worm before it became too much of a problem. Now he's looking at, I need some knockout punches. I need to put the Wasps under some pressure. And Eliminati takes the Ion Beam, dropping it straight over the Marksman. Also has not teched the Wasps. Has to drop a Wraith out on the other side. What was this?
I don't like the Ion Beam. I mean, he's going for the... I realize that he's worried, but surely the 200 armor of those sandworms is going to be the play.
Right. Yeah, it costs 400 because he already has a tech, but plus 50% hit points for the sandworms, and potentially range on the Wraith so it doesn't stay up front as much, and range on the Wasps could have done it. Well, range on the Wasps for sure.
I mean, how much is the 200% armor these days? 200?
It's 200, but he's got a... oh, I'm sorry, the 200% armor item. It's down to 150%, sir.
Oh, that's 150%.
Yeah. There is no 200% armor. I thought you were talking about the armor tech. The armor tech, because the armor enhancement would have been plus 50% hit points.
Yeah.
So because there were so many shield bubbles there, one of the marksmen escaped, and OnlyFangs really reading that there might be a Wraith on the other side, dropped a level 1 marksman over there. So he's got an answer to this Wraith, and he's going to get the tower debuff on the Storm plus Ion Beam side, which leaves one sad Wraith for Eliminati. Very clean defense from OnlyFangs. He's dropped Eliminati to 993 hit points. Another lightning storm. They both take it this time. It's in the same spot, and it is mirror imaged for Eliminati this time. Eliminati takes range on the Wasps. Yeah, this positioning is what I was kind of expecting him to do last round. And I do think OnlyFangs is going to bubble it much the same way. Although he may have to extend that bubble line out. He's saved 500.
There you go. Beautiful.
He's not going to bubble the weak side. Oh, he is. Okay. That's one... Right, it's one marksman, 4 bubbles. He has to spread the bubbles thinner than last round. But really well covered against it.
Anyway, yeah. He close it out now.
Yeah, he takes the lone, takes range, just has a sense that I've got the tempo here. Eliminati in Sword of Desperation has gone rapid resupply, enhanced range, high mobility, mass recruited to get one more wasp out, one more sandworm out, and see if he can get it done. I think things look really strong for OnlyFangs being protected under the shield bubbles during the worst of this storm and having won the round last round. That said, if it does not turn it around, right? If he does not win this round, he is down deploys and down. He's gonna win this round. Okay, never mind.
Oh, it's still a sandworm. It's still a sandworm.
Yep. It's not enough to win. It's not lethal damage. So Eliminati survives that at 303 hit points. Now he got a giant, a wasp. He saved 400 on shield bubbles. That yeah, OnlyFangs has one of them surviving, but economically, this game is starting to turn towards Eliminati. And remember, the ion beam was cheaper and comes back quicker than that earlier storm as well. So,
yeah.
Eliminati has Fire Badger. He's using it to flank in the back corner. Level 3 Fire Badger is going to pull a Mustang and a Marksman down there. OnlyFangs taking his time, thinking about Phoenix, Rhino, Double Overlord. Is this for Photon?
I think it's for Overlord Artillery, isn't it? Just to deal with those ones.
Chew up the worms if you need to. And they're outside where they will go turn around and deal with Fire Badger flanks. So that's really clever placement. This one will turn and go. Are you sure, game? No, this one's going over here.
Did he sell? He must have sold the other Fire Badger flank. Yeah, the other Fire Badger.
I think he sold the other Fire Badger.
He gets in one. Right, okay. He's having to bubble every round now, which is fine if you win this round, but then...
Right, he needs to win out, right? Like, he needs to close this out because the economy is getting away from him. It's 5 giants out there, it's...
Just needs to get rid of... Oh, that back worm made it, so that is a problem. These worms are now a problem.
Yeah. And this is the thing, as they start to level, they become...
really hard to deal
really
with.
difficult to kill. He's given them hit points by adding the armor. This is what I thought you meant way earlier when you said take the armor. It's 400. It puts 50% more hit points on it, and that really changes the calculus and how quickly you can get through a sandworm. And now you get, hey look, I had 4 giants survive. OnlyFangs goes from in really good shape down to 686 hit points and on the verge of knockout. And the economy has been getting away from him. He needed to finish this out 2 rounds ago. And now you get heavy armor, or the super heavy armor, dropped.
Has to hit Overlord Artillery. Not got single target damage. Other than the marksmen, which are not enough.
No, they have not been enough.
Oh, great read. Great read.
Oh,
to pick that specific wasp pack out is crazy.
That is just amazing. Yes.
Please hit the Overlord Artillery. Okay.
There it is, and a 3rd Overlord. Level 2 on both towers, which, you know, the sandworm's going to do 18,000 damage. At least it won't one-shot it, but it still threw it in like 2.5 seconds. So that's more about...
Why has he bought the oil? Because it doesn't matter with the worms, right? But I guess...
No, the worms will be underground.
If the gold...
the goal is to delay the chaff so that you kill those 2 worms, I guess.
Right, so
yeah,
the
that
worms
makes
and the
sense.
wraith are out in front all by themselves.
Yeah, okay.
And 4 overlords with chin guns. Hopefully the worms will be on the surface and go down.
We'll have a lot of worms to deal with.
It's gotten very dangerous.
The shin guns just don't seem to be doing any damage.
They're not doing enough, right? That's why he has the chaff slowed down on the right, so that the chin guns would target the worms. The 1 worm they targeted did go down. And chin guns on the far left took care of the far left worm. But I think it's 3 worms left here. And that will be GG. We'll see when they pop up. It might be 4 worms left. It is.
Wow. That is... Just shows you those
He got the worms early so that he could get some levels on them. By the time that OnlyFangs has figured out, okay, I'm going to need some boats with chin guns, it's too late. They're level 1. They're not doing enough damage.
Right, versus level 2 worms with item and armor enhancement and creating the sandstorm so that they take damage. And this was really brilliantly played. And I honestly, I felt like OnlyFangs had played this exceptionally well, and you can see that from Eliminati's point total. He gets very close. And, you know, if it had gone at all different, right? 1 surviving giant on the last round, or a little bit more surviving hit point damage in one of the earlier rounds, he might have eliminated Eliminati.
Yeah, I feel like the shield bubbles. You know, he spent 400 that 1 round. He spent 400 the next round.
Mm-hmm.
He spent the next round. I mean, the hit on your economy is enormous.
And those are rounds where he had also spent on the storm, 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
And that's very expensive. We'll go to round 5 with Sunnyside facing Pierre Petit, Apooche facing Soja, Tungdill against Reven, Eliminati against FreakBob. So Baller against Eliminati would be a great game. We would do it if we hadn't just shown Eliminati. I think we will jump into Soja against Apooche. Soja, of course, a strong player with a long history. Welcome to the quarterfinals of Weekend Tournament Europe number 71. Soja versus Apooche. Soja near side blue, Apooche far side red.
Oof, I don't like Apooche's packs. Guessing he goes giant. Okay, do we not?
So Titans match notes are Soja is almost exclusively a standard player, unless they're changing things up. Appreciate that one, Titan. With me in the booth is Zach. Saltmonkeyiszak, the organizer of the Mechabellum Launch Clash tournament coming up. Also organized several of the community tournaments previously, notably the Trash Masters 1 and Trash Masters 2. He's been a longtime member of the guild, a longtime supporter of the channel, and of course, somebody I count as a personal friend. And Alpha Titan Alpha Titan will be joining us for the cast this evening, I believe.
Oh. Alpha Titan's doing America with you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Asia with Rooster, Europe with the Zach, and America's with Titan. That's the plan.
What a lineup.
Mm-hmm.
What a line. I'm really looking forward to seeing this Apooche aggression. Is it just fake aggression, or is he actually gonna go full aggro?
Well, he's got 15 seconds to figure out. No, he's bought the other 2. He's bought 2 crawlers for the back corner.
It's fake. It's fake aggression.
It's fake, and the way you can tell that is he didn't leave the 7x7 gap out of here.
It's interesting. So he wanted aerials so bad that he
I don't know. Maybe I just didn't like the packs. Maybe he didn't either. But I really thought the giant specialist would have suited him better. But anyway, okay.
We'll see if that turns out to be a mistake. I mean, as a new player, you kind of look at those starting packs and you look at boards and you say, well, round 1 is kind of random anyways. But by the time you're up at this level, the starting packs and starting units are tremendous. And
yeah.
I do agree with you, Alpha Titan. I liked the Marksman Specialist pack for him a lot. I was surprised he did not take it. You saw me mouse over
Was it
at
the
World
Marksman?
Yeah, there was a decent Marksman back there.
Yeah.
I was mousing over it while you were talking about the giant pack. Just, well, Apooche does win round 1 with a full pack of steel balls surviving and able to level. And we talked about that. They are in what I would think of as his War Factory spot, because he will often leave a little 7x7 gap there. But
yeah.
And now Extended Range War Factory shows up. Wow. So he might well just start with that, level this pack up, and eventually sell out of it. He's going to think about this for a while. Obviously, redeployment would be interesting for him as well, because he can level this and then redeploy out of it. Redeploy it to attack from an unexpected direction, and then he can redeploy all game long.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Redeploy so strong in aggro. He does neither of them. He goes for the improved firepower control and takes unlocks Wraith as aerial.
Wow, okay. Let's go. Apooche's doing it. Apooche's going aggro, baby.
Apooche is cooking right now. Is this going to morph into Worm, Wasp, Wraith aggro? Is that the plan? Soja in defense, not afraid to just buy oil off of tower right away, spend the 150. I'm going to drop it in front of your steel balls. I don't care that I don't care if you level those, I'm going to trap them in oil for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, I really like the marksman. It's really over it.
Yeah, great read adding the marksman for Soja. The marksman drops the Wraith this round before going down. And that saves 300 hit points on the bar, right? Even if he loses this round, he's got the oil in play still. Slow this aggro down. He protected himself from 300 hit points worth of Wraith damage. He loses the round, but he's not in as bad shape as it might feel. He's only down to 3674. He's got things in place. Now he knows the direction that Apooche is taking this.
Shows up again.
Tempting Apooche with that redeploy. There,
Surely.
finally.
Yeah, there we go. and by the way, how quick did he choose that one this time? That is not a normal Apooche pick.
That is very true. Apooche is known for taking a long time. He's an old school RTS player. He has the APM to just not get caught out. Like he will spend his time up front thinking in a way that some of us can't afford to do because we don't have the APM. But here he goes. He knows he has the oil in the way. He redeploys the level 2 steel balls away from it. Now they're attacking the opposite side of the board behind the Wraith. If he wants, he can mobile beacon these guys around. Obviously, he has spent through. He doesn't have the money for a mobile beacon. But
I believe in you, Soja.
get the Wraith, please.
Yes, they don't have a aerial click, right?
Oh.
So they're not targeting it. Now they're targeting it during debuff. Oh my god, this hurts. They killed it.
It really does.
They killed it right at the end, but oh my gosh. Now that one goes hard. And it drops Soja down under 2,900 hit points. He takes the two level 2 Fire Badgers. And Apooche has, again, he's going to take his time, so we're going to step away from him. He has the choice of 2 level 1 Farseers, 2 level 2 Rhinos, 2 level 2 Mustangs, and 2 level 2 Fire Badgers. The Fire Badger is a great choice for Soja. You might have considered putting them vertical for slowing down the steel balls. But he takes, he's going to Elite Recruit, I think. Yeah, Elite Recruit 3 Marksmen, puts them across the board with anti-air. Apooche took the Rhinos. Let's go.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best sell values out of this. But also potential hit point damage. Definitely a counter to the Fire Badgers, especially if he has the positions good. They're just going to get in and punch.
I don't like where he's putting his Fire Badgers. I would have liked to have seen them a little bit further back.
And the thinking on the Fire Badger this far forward is going to be, I can click Napalm, I don't have to click range. They're going to hit, they're going to drop Napalm on this crawler. And Apooche's out for that is he can always redeploy this crawler, right? He doesn't have to leave it there. He's got redeploy available, which is not something you always have.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be Rhino and Wraith on the flank over here. Replicate Crawler for Soja is going to be particularly painful when he sees the Rhino. It's one of the best counters to Replicate Crawler is Whirlwind on a Rhino. Right, there was a marksman placed far enough forward that it got an instant lock on one of those raids. That changes this lineup.
Sure did.
Pretty nice. Pretty nicely.
Go on, hit that Rhino.
Nope.
Oh,
I know,
come
Apooche
on.
gets the tower with it.
Brutal.
So
Those marksmen,
this-
though, they're going to have a good time.
This is one of the OG cat versus dog rivalries in this game. So Soja versus Apooche, they go back a long time.
Yeah.
And Soja ran an account named Kittens Are Better Than Puppies for a while. So just to let you know how deep that rivalry is, you are new to the game, if you're just joining us because you've found the game due to launch and some of the efforts to promote the game, pick a side.
Well, I'm the only person supporting Soja right now in the Insight. So if Soja were to win, I'd be getting a ton of insight from just one spend. But yeah.
The Wraiths have range now. That is going to help with the insta-lock. This
Okay.
marksman should still insta-lock, though. But we can redeploy it a little bit to punish it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't see the Whirlwind from the Rhinos, but Apooche may just be relying on the Wraith damage to clear the Replicate. It's also got
think he is.
750 to spend, right?
Yeah.
You know, plenty to do. It's going to be Wraith with 8 gun. That's probably a better choice, legitimately. If you can get those
Huge.
Wraiths to
Yeah.
scale.
Damage output. Just,
Mhm.
you know, it's double.
He's also got those Wasps as the call-in on the back line, doing a fair amount to distract the marksman, because of course the marksmen have the aerial specialization, so it takes them a minute. On the other hand, the Replicate Crawler call-in on the back line has replicated out into more crawlers than it started with, gotten both of Apooche's towers. It's going to be a minute. If there were enough marksmen left, this could have been a problem. There are not enough marksmen left. Yeah, Soja wins, or I'm sorry, Apooche wins round 6, drops Soja to 1874 hit points.
Gotta be thinking about the Typhoons, but then do they die too easily? Yeah, he's gone.
Right. Vulcan in defense, a classic for a reason. Second way to add fire on the ground. Apooche takes the level 3 Scorpion, puts it where it has an almost instant lock on a Fire Badger. Will if he gives it range. Soja's oil is back up, but there's no obvious strong place to put this, and Apooche has the redeploy, so he could be jumping around it anyways. Despite getting the Vulcan, Soja is going to add two more Fire Badgers. Expect that is a prelude to attack on the Fire Badger. And again, they are all front and center, so I'm expecting that attack to be Napalm. Instead, it's range on the Marksman. So we're really trying to ensure that they get their early locks going.
Yeah. I think that Marksman, the level 3, is going to get the lock on the Wraith. Though will it straight go on the crawlers? Yeah, I think it will still do the crawlers, but then the Vulcan gets rid of them.
Right. This this arrow does not actually take the aerial specialization into account. It's just showing you the no-tect version of it, so don't be confused by that. And that arrow is an estimation. It is not guaranteed to be 6 seconds into the round. I'm still going to be targeting that thing. It's like, what my AI would target right at the very start of the round, and by the time things have moved one step, it might have chosen something different.
Marksmen are not doing a pretty good job. The left has really come back, but
the right has just fallen apart. The add of the Scorpions and being able to redeploy that Rhino to come through the gap that the Scorpion created was just huge. And now the steel balls are getting the work done.
Just that Vulcan, so annoying.
One Vulcan walking through the flames, stuck all by itself, shot down in a blaze of glory. You kind of wish Vulcan would just explode when you hit it. It's like it should do a little incendiary bomb all around itself.
It's got the tanks on the back, right?
For good or ill, right? This thing blows up and it drops a little bit of fire on the ground.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose they're all interesting picks. Feels like Intensive or Mustang would be real good.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Soja.
Titan wants to know if I was thinking mechanically or visually. Hey, I'm thinking mechanically, but even visually, it'd just be pretty awesome. Like, maybe that is the balance that hack they need. Like, yeah, they're great, but if you lose them... I also love that... I also love the little, homage to Kerbal Space Program here. That just looks so Kerbal Space. Yeah, Kerbal Space Program there.
Yeah. The little helipad on the top of it is amazing.
Yeah, there's so many little details if you zoom in on the units. It just has so much fun. And there's no defined lore for this game, right? We are battling over the planet of Faraway with robots. Go. It's just brilliant.
What
do you need?
Why range on the Fire Badgers? Why?
You're in point blank range. What? This was supposed to...
It's like napalm or ignite, mate. It just makes...
crying out for napalm for forever. He does pick up portable shield on the Fangs, which is a good stopper in front of the Scorpions. Actually slowed down the Rhino a fair amount on the far side.
It's done. I can't. The right is getting crushed. Ugh. I'd love to have seen what napalm would have done. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save that game and replay that last round just to see if I could have, taken it around further.
Right. Now, Alpha Titan points out that there's the portable shield on the Fang had been around a while. It drew my attention from this and this, where they were explicitly, the Scorpion had taken out this unprotected Fire Badger on the line. There hadn't been any frontal protection for the Fire Badgers previously, and it locked this up for a long time. Yeah, the new deployments really made that map much more impactful right in this corner, which was where my eye was. I try not to mouse too much to force you guys' eyes to the to different parts of the board. And that's part of why I use the automatic camera, right? Is the as a player, my eye is going to be in one spot, your eye might be somewhere else, and it just annoys me when somebody else is in control of the camera and they mouse away from the part of the battle that I was following, right? We have followed Apooche for a ways. He's up against Pierre Petit. I think we should go over to Tungdil against Baller in the other semifinal.
I do. That is the game we need to be watching.
Mm-hmm. Tungdil's route to the semifinal is through Eagle, Mr. Spider, Underdog, Fanatics, and Reven. Baller is through Mumbo Jumbo. Whoops. Baller has come through Mumbo Jumbo, Ape in Shape, the T-Man, Sparty, and Eliminati. So that is the match. Fair enough. Welcome to the semifinals of Weekend Tournament European number 71. Nearside FreakBob is the player once known as Baller. Of course, Baller is no what was the name of that account? He won a weekend tournament under a different account name, and then there was a player who was like, "Yeah, Baller's good, but he's no
Messiah?
The Messiah." Yeah, Baller's good, but he's no the Messiah. It's like it's the same player. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, Baller Nearside, playing under the name FreakBob or FreakBob Mobile, is a supply specialist with the Tarantula and Crawler. Far side, Tungdil, coming off of a 18th place in Asia earlier today. Aerial specialist, started with arc lights and storms. It's a great start, by the way. Storm's a great start for him. Perfect into the tarantulas, and his positioning is really, really good. So they're going to get a very early volley onto the tarantula, even if they're locked onto the crawlers.
Ooh,
huge damage there.
Half damage straight away.
Yeah. So that's just extreme. You'd say extreme bad luck for Baller, or extreme excellent placement from Tungdil. Baller starting with only 3,600 hit points, losing round one with storms on the board, drops them to 3,150.
Yeah, what's impressive about that? I mean, look at Tungdil. He actually, most people don't put the storms necessarily. They sometimes put them on the flank like that, but they don't put them that two steps forward. They kind of put them next to the tower. So I think it's good placement.
Yeah, it's very good placement, and really read what Baller was going to do, I think. Of course, part of the reason that round is so damaging is that a pack of Stormcallers, if it survives, does 200 hit points on the bar. So that was most of Baller's damage, was from the two surviving storms. He's going to match them with his own Stormcallers, also outside of tower. And Tungdil took the Fire Badgers, which we know they're a very strong unit. Over 5,000 hit points, so at level 2 here, they're up over 11,000 hit points, I believe. 11,070.
Such a pain to deal with at level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Marksmen, they really suck versus them. They really do. Just to have them land on round 2.
That feels to me like marksman DPS at level 1 is actually pretty low. It's not until a marksman's scale that they really pop off in a way that intuitively doesn't quite make sense to me. It feels like they should be doing a little bit better damage level 1. I try to play them the same as I play Phoenix, and that costs me because I expect them to be doing the kind of DPS that a Phoenix does, and they just don't.
No, that's right. They really don't. But hey, they're a lot cheaper. But even if you put 2 marksmen there, they don't. They just don't. They're not comparable.
Right. They're an investment unit for the long term. They scale when you've got a huge group of them. They're not like a... Yeah, their top end is absolutely insane. It's just... It's not a straight... it's not a even Steven curve there.
Yeah.
And I mean, from a game balance perspective, maybe that's right. You shouldn't be able to slap down a level 1 100 cost unit that's free to unlock and have it be an amazing DPS unit. They just shouldn't be.
I still think they're one of my favourite units in the game because they do scale so well.
I wonder if that's why Arclight Harry bothered me for so much longer than it bothers other people as like an MMR skill level bump, because I wasn't playing Marksman as much, and Marksman are such an obvious answer to carry Arclight. You answer it with carry Marksman and you outrange them and you out DPS them.
Yeah. Undoubtedly. And maybe also the fact that Arclight is a unit that is a free unlock, and again, does end up being quite strong late game.
Right.
And it's kind of annoying. We all have played against carry Arclight, and not so much nowadays, but back in the day, and gone, how do I stop this? This is so annoying. When you haven't committed to it, it's like, ugh.
Right. I think carry Arclight is back in this meta, certainly at some of the lower and mid levels where it was extremely frustrating with this 0.9 second rate of fire. If you're
you mentioned this earlier, so and obviously I've been out for 2 weeks because I've been on holiday. What have we've seen it, and I haven't read the patch notes, I apologize, but we have seen a change back to the Arclight, which it's retained the 300%, obviously,
right,
but it's they've changed the from a second to 0.9, is that right?
No, it used to be 1.1 with the charged shot sitting up at like 1.46, so it got rounded up to 1.5, I believe, and it is now 0.9, and the charged shot rounds up to like 1.23 or something, so it rounds down to 1.2.
Wow.
Which means it's a lot closer. Charged shot Arclight right now is a lot closer to where Arclight was 4 weeks ago by base. Right?
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't seen it a bit more then.
At a higher level, players know that if they see it coming, they have to get something in place early, and one of the best ways to keep it from scaling is to throw down the loose formation crawler, which Waller is not even running. Loose formation crawler. So loose formation crawler, when it first released, cost like $250, right? And was very powerful. Was getting a lot done, and it had basically made Arclight almost completely useful. And then the loose formation got bumped up to 400 cost. Arclight's rate of fire got reduced, and so the overall DPS increase for Arclight was like plus 9% or so. They reduced the damage per shot when they increased the rate of fire.
Yeah.
But it was still a net gain, and it's a larger net gain, and it's a larger percentage gain at the charged shot level.
Yeah, and especially if you've got something else to support on the chaff clear, right?
Right.
Because there are so many units that can do chaff clear now. It's not like there's just a few units. There's
so much stuff. And if you're doing the carry out plan, you're like, yeah, no, I'm just looking at this for the late game because I know they're going to do damage all over the place. Seems you're right. It's viable again.
Yeah, it's back on the table for sure. Baller has done a really good job of slowing down Tungdil's early advantage, negated it with that incendiary drop and with the lightning storm, and has really stabilized this board. Gone into we've got triple typhoons for chaff clear. We've got 2 tarantulas that are level 2 now, so they're a lot tankier, and the marksmen have range. Tungdil drops the level 5 Rhino. Which,
I'd say it.
yeah, he's big, but
Yeah.
Baller took and sold.
Without any tech.
Yeah, Baller took and sold the Wraith
right?
for cash. And it is going to be Rhino in front of Wasp, but the Wasps have jump drives, so they're moving at 5 meters per second faster. I think they're going to get here before that Rhino does, right? They're going to outspeed this thing, right?
Is that why?
Yeah, if you watch it, I'm almost certain those jump drive Wasps get themselves shot down by typhoons. Baller takes the missiles, and this is an important one to know. The missile, while it specifies its ATK is increased by 40%, it does actually increase the homing missile damage as well. Missile damages like this are affected by items that affect ATK. So.
And yeah, he's selling that Rhino.
Right, it did not
No
do
way
at all what he hoped it would. The positioning was just wrong, right? If he wanted it to do what he wanted it to do, his Rhino needed to be a lot further forward. The Wasps were going to catch up to
Yeah,
him.
it's getting sucked in the middle,
Mhm.
and it's also going up against the Typhoon with the haste module, and it was already a level 2 Typhoon, so that was always going to do some damage to it.
Right. Baller very much has the board stabilized, gets Tungdil down to 2100 hit points. You get rapid cooling. Baller had all those spells, Incendiary Oil and Lightning Storm,
Nice.
all on the bar already. So he's takes the rapid cooling, which is not a nuke, but does cool down all battlefield powers by a round. So he gets the Incendiary Bomb down now, when Tungdil might not know to throw it up shields, and then he's going to get the Lightning Storm back for next round, rather than on round 9. And I think Baller is going for the knockout with that play. Really well done. Assuming it works, you were correct about selling the Rhino. With all the Rhino cash, we get Loose Crawler, we get Ranged Charged Shot Phoenix, Tungdil all in on the board here. Lone and Range.
It's a lot of Phoenix.
It is a lot of Phoenix.
I mean, why do these Phoenix feel so weak? They feel really weak.
Baller's chaff placement. I think they're still shooting crawlers. Still shooting crawlers. Still shooting crawlers.
Yeah.
And now they finally locked onto something that wasn't a crawler. And you can see,
he's just got
it instantly
bad chaff.
destroyed. Absolutely destroyed the Typhoons once they locked. But
yeah.
Baller's got such a good chaff board. I mean, it is just phenomenal. And with the fire, he drops Tungdil down to 460. And with the storm up and ion beam at the same time, I do not like Tungdil's chances this round. For those of you that are wondering, what do I mean by the chaff board being phenomenal, right? Is he's got what you would call like a mid-late group of crawlers, and then a late group of crawlers, and then he's got arriving after the mid-late crawlers. You kind of get some locks on this set of fangs, and then you get these mid-late fangs. It is just solid. It's just so good. And if he had loose formation on the bar for the crawlers, it would be even better, but obviously he's making it work without it. Baller shows up in chat. He says, Spell Indie Gaming. Spell Indie Gaming pays off when you get the rapid cooling for sure.
Yeah, really good.
Honestly, I think it's the chaff as much as the spells. And now he's got triple teched typhoons, aerial specializations. They can have 30 extra meter range against this Phoenix. He had already had the homing missiles. Now he's got the barriers against either the Ion or anything else that Tungdil might try.
And he's now got the same amount of chaff as Tungdil, but he did have 3 more at the last round, and Tungdil, so it's
right.
Yeah, it's just better placed with the units that he has.
Right. Tungdil did a good job of dodging the ion beam over there with speed. Took speed from tower.
Yeah.
And that is certainly one of the things you can do when you know that the ion beam or another key spell is on the board. If you took speed last round, don't. If you did take speed last round, if you didn't take speed last round, do, because you can change what your opponents read of where the battlefield, where your units are going to be fighting from on the battlefield. You can also do that with changing whether or not you put jump range. It affects where your units stopped to fight from. But so he did a good job of dodging it. Still not enough. Baller, clean sweep, used the spells to stabilize, and then just has the better board overall. And Baller's comment in chat here is him getting heavy shot on the Phoenix cost him the game. I got the aerial spec, so it was shooting the Phoenix by preference over the other units. He really needed the last... he really needed the extra 30 range to stay out of the range of the aerial spec. So big win for Baller. That'll put him back above 2,000 MMR with the win off of Tungdil. And he says, wait a minute. The final will be a rematch of the last final that he won. That is awesome. Apooche versus Baller in the final.
Yeah, Baller. Let's go.
Apooche has more titles to his name. Baller has A, won this matchup in a final, and B is hungry for a spot in the Mechabellum Launch Clash Tournament. Zach, do you want to talk about that tournament a little bit and walk us through some of the qualification for those of you who might be tuning in? Obviously, the link is available at the top of chat with a rules link and a sign-up link. There is one more round of tournament. Yes, we have a 7th and decisive round, which will be featuring Apooche and Baller. Apooche's route to the final has been wins over Fedez and Johnny McBah, wOOt, KMPEC, Soja, and Pierre Petit. Baller, as we talked about earlier, came through Mumbo Jumbo, Ape and Shape, T-Man, Sparty, Eliminati, and as we just saw, beat Tungdil in the semis. Asked us not to cast him in the semis, but to cast him in the final, so here he is. Yeah. Welcome to the final of Weekend Tournament European number 71. Multiple-time tournament winner Apooche already qualified for the Mechabellum Launch Clash Tournament via winning 2 tournaments back-to-back on week 68. Trying to deny Baller half of what he needs. Baller needs to win twice. Baller will be Farside Red, playing under the name FreakBob Mobile. Baller has previously won a weekend tournament under the name, in fact, he won the weekend tournament European under the name The Messiah. Has never actually won it under the name Baller. Interesting fact. Marksman Specialist with the Stormcaller and... what did we get? Stormcaller Arclight start, adds a pair of crawlers behind towers. Apooche, taking a moment, he's a speed specialist, which I know he's going to like, has sledges, has crawlers, has created that, look at that 7 gap for the War Factory right there already. It's just a very, very solid opening formation for him. 2 more crawlers as well. When we saw him play Bet It All sort of game previously, he just went ahead and did deep crawlers, getting his early or his later arriving chaff in place. So 1 out here. He's got a 3 gap for a Rhino if needed. These guys are straight behind tower. These are going to be the, I call them early mid chaff. He's got room for early chaff right out in front of the tanks if he wants it. That'll be right up on the line in this little gap here. And Baller in a really solid defensive formation. Vertical storms, arc lights in all three places. Outside of tower, mid, and then crawlers straight behind towers.
And this is very classic Apooche with the sledgehammers on the line, or most on the line. So that's his comfort build.
He's right in on tower. It's the crawlers that get it, unlike a steel ball crawler build. The crawlers are actually a key part of this. Those would have been, I think, the late crawlers from the deepest corner of the board arriving for Apooche that arrive after the chaff clear has been killed. They get in on the tower, but they were the ones straight behind tower here, and they may have leveled up. You might see them behind tower at the very base of the screen. These ones here may have leveled up. They did. They got that level from killing the tower. Baller takes an Assault Scorpion on round 2. Apooche... We know Apooche takes his time thinking.
Right?
Heavy armor would be great for this, for the sledges. Advanced shield device would be interesting. But yeah, heavy armor for now. It'll be on a sledge. Once he's ready to sell out of the sledge and into something bigger, he'll get that back and put it on the bigger unit that he's looking for.
I'm surprised Baller, I mean, I don't know. I would have thought he would sell level 3 marksman. Doesn't want the sledges to level up on it. And he did get Assault Scorpion, so I thought, well, maybe he's going to sell that and get Assault Scorpion down. But he hasn't gone.
Right. It would have been an interesting play to sell the level 3 marksman and take an Assault Scorp instead. For Apooche, it's an Amaroq sledge flank right out here. Love it. That is going to pull everything that was behind tower. We've talked about this. He's creating that gap for these crawlers to come right up through. If you can kill this arc light, these guys are going to be essentially unchallenged. He doesn't have quite as much chaff clear out on the outside as he did last time. And actually, I think some of Baller's chaffs functioned as a pull that brought those crawlers further in. So pulling them out of the way didn't help as much as it might have.
Orange Man's doing the work as well.
He's even finishing off these... he even one-shots the armored sledge, but those armored sledges have done enough to get up to level 2 now, and they will be able to survive his one-shot next round, if Apooche's willing to put the 100 into them. Unit reinforcement round, we have 3 of the rare units, Typhoon, Farseer, and Fire Badger, with a Giant, the Melting Point also available. Baller takes the Farseers. He said one of the matches we did not watch, he said he beat Eliminati by throwing down Farseer spam and won in 5 rounds. And
Wow.
the reason that works is that the surviving Farseer does 300 hit point damage, so it's even more of a tempo accelerator than a surviving pack of storms.
Yeah.
Your long-range unit has big damage to the hit point bar. It can be pretty brutal. Both players took it, so we're in a Farseer versus Farseer. Apooche actually buys one of his own and redeploys it far to the left, so he's got a level 2 and a level 1. Baller has the level 2 where it'll almost insta-lock these sledges and then be able to turn around and work on other units. He's really trying to make sure that Apooche can't push through this and get to that tower again.
Really like this from Baller, this defense at the moment.
Yeah, this is a really solid defense. Now, Apooche does take advantage of the weaker left side. Both players were stronger on the right. Apooche's Farseer is able to get in and get a tower debuff. That is going to help him. Fighting under debuff is so painful. It lets him get to the second tower, lets him get Orange Man experience into Farseers and sledges. Look at that. Look at that Hot Wheels blue and blaze on the sledge. Love that skin. So Apooche wins.
Surprised.
Yeah, Apooche wins round 2. or round 3 even. Baller down to 3630. And takes the smoke to put it right in the way of the sledges. Apooche takes the shield airdrop. He can counter this by putting it into the... Yeah, shield airdrop, you're not limited to putting it in your own territory the way that you are for a normal shield. So you can drop it on your flanks, and you can drop it slightly encroaching into enemy territory, which gives you kind of a fascinating ability to do things like this, where he's going to block the smoke to ensure that his Farseer is able to get in and operate essentially uninterrupted from here. Obviously, his sledges will also be uninterrupted. This pack, not having quite as good time, they're going to have to drive all the way through. Baller adds a second Farseer, has the missile sentry device that would have punished Apooche if he didn't place chaff in front of the sledge flank. Picks up a fourth sledge. He's buying Mech Rage on them. He might as well have some techs on them. It's going to be in front of the Farseer on the left. Baller is now winning the Farseer works. He has one in the middle and one on the far left, where, oh goodness, Apooche thinking about deploying that sledge as a flank, opted out of it. It would have been insta-locked and basically destroyed by that Farseer. So he made a good decision. He almost made a bad decision.
Yeah, really good decision. That Farseer is on its own, so it's in real trouble actually for Baller.
Right, it gets locked, it gets destroyed by the opposite Farseer.
Yeah. He's got to get stuff behind that tower on the far right, because he's going to lose this tower again, which is really going to...
Right, and that bubble perfectly blocked the smoke, gave his Farseer and some of his heavy armored sledges a place to fight out of, and it's going to survive the round, allowing him to kind of have that in place again next round. So, and the tanks, yeah, the tanks did amazing work out in front. So Apooche definitely putting the pressure on. Baller down to 30-32, and Apooche at 37-12. That was quick. Game trying to catch us up. Apooche instant advanced powertrain, so he was already plus speed from being speed specialist. Now he's plus 3 more speed. So his originally 6 meter per second fangs and 7 meter per second sledges. These sledges have plus 3, plus 6, plus 4, so they are 17 meter per second sledges. They are actually faster than a crawler on Baller's side. Speed tank guy. Let's go. This is the dream that I would run this aggro. This is the dream build for me for it, is getting them up to... Yeah, you have some wasps. Great, I run away from them. Wait, what? Your tanks run away from my wasps? Yeah, no problem. They're faster.
Yeah. A nice move by Baller. He gets rid of one of the Farseer.
Sold that Farseer on the far left. Yeah, nice choice. And replacing it by upgrading the tower. Now that tower is going to fall. It's just going to buy him a little bit more time for this fight on the right. Apooche adds a pair of Phoenix for some single target damage. Baller has gone with the Assault Scorpions. You remember he picked that up on round 2. He had not placed them yet, really allowing Apooche to commit into the sledges, maybe playing possum a little bit, looking like he's forgotten about it. But the Assault Scorpion reduces the attack interval by 1.5, also speeds them up, and decreases the range by 30. So he took range off the tower, or off the attack enhancement. So he's plus 10 range on the default Scorpion with a 3-second reload instead of a 4-5-second reload. And that is going to get a lot done against the tanks. It brings down the shield barrier that had been so annoyingly positioned. It even bought enough of DPS to punch through and get one of the packs of Phoenix. Obviously the Scorpion can't kill it, but the Farseer could. And Baller has
turn around, Orange Man. Oh man.
Stabilized and wins this round by a single Farseer. Apooche down to 34-12. Baller at 30-32. Yes, you are a hero. Good job. Panting. I imagine a panting dog there.
What do you think? Is he going to get rid of that Marksman and Orange Man, or is he just keep that.
He's going to keep it.
It strikes me as...
You think it's striking you as useless?
Well, he's now investing tech in other things.
Right.
Unless he goes more... But then I guess with the threat of Phoenix on the field, but then, surely your Farseer is now your answer to the Phoenix. Maybe it is worth leaving it there.
So Baller finally takes the sticky oil off tower, drops that in front of the attack. Now that the shield is down, he can do it. He's also got a Vulcan to light it on fire. He repositions it a little bit to better catch the tanks this round. There was no point in being that deep because he's going to light it on fire anyways. Apooche, now that the Farseer is sold out of here, drops a new tank deep and a level 5 Rhino with a mobile beacon right to that tower. Tower is up to level 3, but this Rhino does 18,000 damage every 0.9 seconds. Somebody do the math. I think that's 20,000 DPS. Yeah, it's going to take it 3 seconds. 4 punches. No, 3 punches? 3 punches to get through that tower. 1, 2, 3. Done. Baller takes the radar enhancement attack on the Farseers, so everything in his little bubble has an extra 10-meter range. So a way to give extra range to everything. This is a particularly clever combo for him with the reduced range on the Assault Scorpion. One of the things that Apooche could conceivably have done to punish that was to range the sledges, and giving the Farseers the benefit of additional range was one way to counter that play. What he did not counter was the level 5 Rhino, which has gotten a far left tower.
Oh, yes.
Army goes from left to right, gets the second tower, and now he's feeding some XP into Phoenix and Farseer as they get through the leveled units at the very back of the line. Apooche at 3412, Baller down to 2492.
If he's keeping the, surely he's super heavy armor tempted on the big fat Rhino.
Still got his War Factory gap too. Not that he would want the ER factory for this. He doesn't want to decrease the hit points by 40% when you're on the line.
I know.
But Photon Emission plus a factory could be an interesting play. Lots of options there. Takes the Orbital Javelin.
Okay.
He's got great spots for it. Right in here. Yeah, you can't bubble to protect against it. It won't kill the Vulcan, but it'll drop it to 7,000 hit points and make it a very not tanky Vulcan. Baller is going to get some use out of it before that happens, dropping Incendiary Bomb. Has also gone with the Tower of Power defense, an additional Fang in front, just to slow things down and draw units together into what will be his kill zone, his fire zone. Apooche, rather than selling the Rhino, drops the shield bubble on that side with a War Factory, with Launcher Overload. The War Factory comes on the attack side. Of course, he did not take the extended range War Factory. This thing's a battle factory. It's right up front. The point is that it has 190,000 hit points. There's just not enough DPS there, especially if we kill the key defensive Scorpion there. You can see he's punched all the way through to tower already. That pull was creating a gap. This is how he exploits it. It is a brutal finishing move because the War Factory is going to do 600 damage to the tower.
Oh, yeah.
Also why he didn't sell this Rhino on the far side. It'll be another 200 damage on the tower. Everything adds up. Baller down to 4 hit points. Staying alive. Are there
Come on!
Is there skin left on your teeth?
A dream.
Okay, Baller, you gotta dial it in here. This is the moment that, dramatic impact. Come back from this and win it. This is the storyline everybody wants now.
It is.
Baller
4
takes
hit points in a dream.
Baller, the teenage wonder kid, takes Amplifying Core, 100 cost for 50% hit point, 50% ATK. Apooche, intensive training.
No.
It's not a level 2 War Factory,
God.
it's a level 3 War Factory. He also takes the photon coating. His positioning is so that you can't get an insta-lock with a melter. There's just no way. Obviously, Baller buys the melting point. It's the right choice.
Yeah.
This pack of fangs is not helpful, particularly. It will get destroyed by the Farseer volley. It will get shot by the back guns of the War Factory. War Factory, if you don't know, has 4 guns. 2 of them face forward, 2 of them face out and back. So this pack of fangs gets instant destroyed. It did get a lock, though. It pulled the tanks, maybe. Is that way clever? Was that like 5?
Come on! It's taking forever, though.
Through the photon, it certainly does. And it goes down. Look at that. And on the other side, a second melter has taken down the Rhino. Baller winning on both fronts.
This is huge, Baller.
That is a giant
An
round.
even bigger dream.
Baller drops Apooche to 638 hit points in a single round. It is the KO blow.
Smoke. The smoke was just so brutal.
Pair of overlords for Baller. Of course, the Phoenix are strong against those, but Baller is going to use them to drop the matching photon emission. Drops photon on all of his units. It's great. Apooche is sold out of the now countered outside Rhino. It ran out of the bubble and died, right?
Yeah.
So instantly out of it. Not going to be stuck in something that doesn't help him.
Not even ranging the melters. He's not even ranging the melter. He doesn't need to.
Everything comes to him, but you really do want to get that lock on the War Factory as early as possible. Apooche is going to mobile beacon out and around. There's no great spot for that War Factory left on the front line of battle anymore. This used to be a 7x7 gap, but he did drop the pack of sledges into it. So he's kind of stuck putting it... Even the middle spot is consumed by this Phoenix. So he's stuck putting it on the far left, but it will be running into that melter, even if it is supported with a new crawler.
Yeah.
He does not run suck on the melters, so there's no hope of getting that lock. There will be... It's going out and around the smoke. That was the idea. It's out where the...
It's left tower that could be the problem. This looks bad.
He's still got chaff in front of the War Factory. The War Factory has the lock. On the left, the War Factory gets the tower. On the right, the War Factory had already killed the melter. There's really nothing left with enough DPS. Baller,
man.
So close to the epic comeback to win the title. And instead, the champ delivers the knockout blow. Apooche, your weekend tournament European number 71 champion. Congratulations, Apooche. Baller, heck of a run, man. GG's. And Baller in chat says, my chaff clear was too weak. Great game, both of you. Really amazing.
Yeah. Great job, dude. I mean, that smoke and then and you know the 4 hit points taking Apooche down to 638, but
Yeah,
he did just something else survive.
Game so close. And I mean, Apooche almost wins this on round 7 if a single crawler or a single late fang survives that round, right? So
yes.
And I absolutely called this wrong. The slight amount of distraction to the crawlers here and the sledges out there was exactly what he needed to put the melting point to get that early lock. And that is what won round 8 for Baller. So just an amazing heads-up play on something that I was like, that's just a throwaway. That's a waste. Why? But really well done, sir.
Yeah. And you know, when you look at Apooche, what he has in that corner, obviously he runs it into the smoke because he didn't know the smoke was there
Right.
on that round. So but obviously has enough hit points to then go, yeah, okay, so I'm going to move out of the smoke this time. And then all of the stuff that's there supporting that war factory is just, it's so challenging. But it just so happens it was the other war factory on the other side that was the one that actually probably won in the game because it gets through on tower so quickly.
Well, it got through on tower, but this right side, he had the chaff arriving. Just changing the mobile beacon allowed these crawlers to arrive and get back in front. The melter locked onto this pack of crawlers after it had come around the war factory, and the war factory actually got up, came through the level 3 Farseer, and had deleted the level 2 melting point just before the left side tower went down. So he actually won on both fronts with the battle factory.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
It's funny because did you see how the Vulcan just ended up in no man's land?
Yes,
right?
it had walked way up here, doing nothing.
Yeah. It just left on its own. It was just like, yeah, you're not needed right there, dude. But yeah. Okay.
Yes, it literally did walk into the smoke at the very end. And I was particularly amused to see the big burst of flame come out of it. Like, oh, there actually is a big burst of flame emoji or animation on the Vulcan when it goes down. The 2 tanks blew up. This was an epic, a real pleasure to cast with you, Zach. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Of course, this blocked anybody from making any progress on qualifying for the Mechabellum Launch Clash qualifiers. Apooche playing the spoiler here. Already has his place booked with weekend tournament 68 European and American titles back-to-back. If he can repeat the double again, that will preserve 2 qualifying slots into next weekend and leave all to play for. Of course, one qualifying berth will be up on offer tonight when Weekend Tournament Americas starts. Here is your tournament final standings. Congratulations to Apooche, who beats Fedez, Johnny McBah. I'm sure this name is longer and cooler. wOOt, KMPEC, Soja, Pierre Petit, and FreakBob, formerly known as Baller, formerly known as the champion The Messiah, who was formerly known as Baller, who was also formerly known as... oh no. Tungdill comes in second. Congratulations to Tungdill. Baller winds up third, despite making it to the finals and having equal minor points and beating Tungdill head-to-head. I do really feel like Baller deserves second in this tournament, guys. I'm sorry, I might be biased. It's just, no, just yet, he just deserves it, right? Okay, so Apooche your winner, Tungdill second, Baller third as FreakBob, Pierre Petit fourth, HD Susauer fifth, Void Insanity takes a top 6, Fedez, Dorgon, OnlyFangs, and Mr. Spider round out the top 10. So again, this is a group where even down to 7th, 8th, 9th, you've got folks that could well have won the tourney coming into it. We'll show you 11 through 20 for those of you getting your name in lights for the first time. Congratulations. Nice work from a couple of folks that are maybe having their best weekend finishes ever. Well done. And then 21 through 30th, and of course, as is tradition, I actually think, given we had 128, should I go down to 40? I should probably go down to 40 for people. It's worthwhile. I mean, you're seeing 26 through 30 has Sunnyside, Eliminati, and Soja, and Flicks. Anybody who's made it into the top 40, even the top 50, has had an amazing weekend. So congratulations to you guys. 3-3 in this tournament is probably substantially better than 4-3 in some of the tournaments I've had 4-3 in. So amazing work. This was a stacked field. Look at the stacked names all the way down to 50th that step out, and notice how many of the big names don't drop until they have 2 losses, right? Like they're it's Johnny McBanjo is the name we were missing earlier. But so many of these folks didn't drop until they had 2 losses. And the reason for that is the epic. I had the chance to show up and be the spoiler in an odd-numbered round later on if I only had one loss. I had the chance to finish in the top 5. So, you know, they stick it out until they have had 2 losses instead of 1, and you're not actually knocked out of the tournament until you've had 3. But if you went into it with hopes of winning it all, and you've lost twice, you know, you can be forgiven for opting to bow out and rest or play on ladder as your mood suits you. Congratulations again to Apooche, Tungdill, and FreakBob. Well played, guys. Pierre Petit, first top 5 finish for you, I believe. Very nicely done, unless you've achieved that under a previous name. HD Sour, nice. Void Insanity, really well done, guys. GG, everybody. Thanks for watching.